this tastes pretty good, but this smells very bad. Welcome to Secrets Impression Moxché, one of the most expensive and luxurious all-inclusive resorts in Playa del Carmen. This place has been hyped up all over the internet, but what is it really like to stay here? Well, today you'll see. There's a lot to love about this resort, but it's not without its issues either. Don't worry, we'll be covering both the impressions and non-impression side. Coming up, everything you need to know about staying here, including the good, bad, and very ugly. So let's get right into it. Playa del Carmen is only about an hour south of Cancun Airport, so it's pretty easy to get here. I want to note that this hotel was very recently built, having opened in late 2022. All guests arrive into the Moxché side and are greeted with a massive open-air lobby. I'm getting Grand Hyatt Kauai vibes here. Now, the impression side is a hotel within a hotel. In the center and left, you'll see the Moxché side, and on the right, you'll see the more exclusive impression side. Staying in the impression side, you will have access to the Moxché side facilities as well. Arriving into the impressions lobby, we're introduced to our two butlers. Yes, impressions guests do get butler service. We're informed that the room is not quite ready yet, so we're escorted to the impressions rooftop so we can have some lunch while we wait. Now, of course, since one of the biggest selling points of this place is it's all-inclusive, you want to know how good is the food. Honestly, pretty good. Not amazing, but pretty good. One thing just for me is I wish they didn't use so much artificial coloring in the food. It's not just in this dessert, it's in a lot of other items as well. Also on the rooftop, we'll find 2 jacuzzis, 2 pools, some complimentary cabanas, and an ample amount of standard seating as well. Unfortunately for the standard seating, it's not really shaded, and the cabanas did often fill up. I did enjoy the pools up here quite a bit though, much less crowded than the Moxché side, and the service was very friendly. I think it's time to go check out our room. Due to a giant skylight, the hallways are filled with natural light. Now, I was booked into their base room, but I was staying as a Hyatt Globalist, which should have entitled me to an ocean view room upgrade, because the standard suite wasn't available. Because I wasn't already upgraded automatically on the app, I inquired about it at check-in, and I was told I was already upgraded into an ocean view. You be the judge of that, but I'm pretty sure that's incorrect. In this case, it ended up being very good that I wasn't upgraded. We'll see why. I do want to say that the rooms are wonderful. It's expected since the hotel is so new, but of course the rooms are very modern and well designed. One of the highlights being the bathroom. We have dual vanities, a plethora of amenities, which are Lalabo by the way. Very nice. They're in bulk bottles, which may be a pro or a minus depending on how you view it. Also, they give bug spray, which you definitely want to use because there are mosquitoes and you will get bit a few times. The best parts of the whole room are the rainfall shower head and massive, and I mean absolutely massive, indoor soaking tub. Biggest bathtub I've ever had, no question. One of the best features, if you're staying on the impression side, is complimentary laundry. I've never had any hotel in the world provide this before, and we definitely took advantage. The water closet is nice but unremarkable, given that there's no bidet. A first for me is the secret little door near the entrance, where you can have room service delivered without having to be bothered. Of course, the room does feature a snack bar, wine fridge, and refrigerated minibar, which are all supposed to be restocked daily, but weren't always in practice. One of the biggest differences in rooms between the impressions and non-impression side is the outdoor space, where on the impression side, you have better views, a bigger balcony, and of course, your outdoor hot tub. Now let's look at the real reason you come here. The pools. Overall, they're pretty great. On the Moxché side, the main pool is a big zero-entry lagoon, which is where we spent most of our time, especially given that there's a bar right there where you can get drinks. We even ended up buying this to keep our hands free. Unfortunately, one of the days there was an issue with the pool. I'm not sure if it was extra windy or they just weren't cleaning it right, but there was this big layer of dirt sticking to me. Here's a before and after comparison to see what I mean. Some other issues we encountered at the main pool are that 1, when it got a bit late, sometimes they would not restock the towels, and 2, all the chairs would get taken up very, very quickly with people leaving their stuff there and going away. So you had to get there really early if you wanted a good chair. Now, in terms of other pools, there's such a great variety of options, even including these fake cenotes. Unfortunately though, when we got close to the beach, we encountered our biggest issue with the resort. Can you see it? Of course not, because it's the smell. During our stay, a large quantity of sargassum seaweed wound up on the beach, and the smell emitted from this is vile. It is one of the most disgusting scents I've ever smelled. My girlfriend and I both refused to go on or even near the beach because of that smell. 2 of the 3 impressions pools were completely unusable, as well as any outdoor seating at restaurants that were too close. The seaweed is usually a seasonal presence starting in June, but for some reason this year it started all the way back in January. Do some research if it's going to be there during during your stay, because at least for me, it was awful. Luckily though, the resort was big enough that we could avoid it. While we're on the topic of issues with this hotel, let me tell you my other big complaint. When we checked in, someone from the so-called VIP services handed us a little booklet explaining that we had $200 in resort credits we could use. For example, $40 off a very expensive spa treatment. Now that's fine, right? They gave us these free coupons, so I can't complain if they're difficult to use. Except they're not free. To activate them, you have to go by the VIP services desk. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's a timeshare pitch. They even went as far as scheduling us a VIP breakfast the next day, which I canceled that night upon realizing it's a timeshare pitch. They also left a note every single day reminding us to go to the VIP services desk. Any hotel in the world, let alone a hotel charging rates this high, should not be trying to pitch you on a timeshare. Period. Especially when they intentionally deceive you by trying to trick you into going to the presentation. Their department being named VIP Services is obviously to mislead you into thinking it's not a timeshare pitch. Do not go to the pitch. This is 100% unacceptable. Okay, rant over. Let's go back to looking at the positives of the hotel. As I previously said, the food is overall pretty legit, with one of our favorite restaurants being Bamboo, a casual lunch dining venue serving Asian food. But of course, the best part is the view you have overlooking the main pool. One very interesting thing to note about the dining experience at most of the restaurants was that before seating us, they would always ask us if we had any dietary restrictions or allergies, which normally I think would be great. The only issue is that despite us always telling them we're vegetarian, it seems they just write it down instead of telling the waiter, because the waiter never knew. The exception to this is at Teodoro, the fine dining restaurant, which we'll cover in a minute. For dinner, there is a quite wide variety of restaurants, ranging from Japanese, French, Italian, and more. Again, I want to say that the food at each of these restaurants is pretty good. Not fine dining level, but very solid, although we didn't get to try the French restaurant. Most of the dining venues do have some sort of dress code, which I was fairly surprised to see actually enforced. For example, at most of the dinner restaurants, you cannot wear shorts indoors. Not a big deal, but if you're someone like me that's proudly anti-pants, just something to note. Now, before we look at the best restaurant on property, let me tell you real quickly about how we booked this place. The cash prices were about $1,500 a night, which there's no way we can afford, so we used 25,000 World of Hyatt Points per night. Sadly, they've now doubled the rate of points you need to use at this place, but there are still plenty of amazing World of Hyatt properties around the world. If you plan to apply for any credit cards to earn some amazing points, then please consider using the links in the description to help support the channel. Just make sure the offers are good though. Okay, now let's look at the place where we had the best food and service of our entire trip. This is Teodoro, which is the resort's fine dining restaurant. If you're staying on the Moxche side, it's gonna cost you $500 per couple. If you're staying on the Impression side, it's $250 per couple. But if you're big brained and you're staying 5 nights on the Impression side, then you get 1 dinner here for free, which is how we ate here. There is no question about it. The service and food at this restaurant are superb. Every new dish, the waiter gave us a very detailed and thorough explanation. Another really cool touch is that I don't think I tucked my chair in once. When I would get up to go to the bathroom and come back, the waiter would be right there ready to tuck my chair in. Just really cool service. And there'd always be 2 people to serve plates simultaneously. Each course does also come with a wine pairing, but we are complete lightweights, so I only had a few sips of the welcome drink. So if you're not staying 5 nights on the Impression side, is it worth it? $500 if you're on the Moxche side, that might be a bit steep. $250 if you're staying on the Impression side, that might be more doable. Now notice for the final dessert, the chocolate souffle, there's one with a logo on it and one without. Mine didn't have it on it, but that's because I told them I have an allergy to artificial coloring. This was the only place that actually paid attention to my dietary restriction. Well done. And the souffle was awesome, by the way. Some final notes about your dinner options. There is of course room service, which was fine, but nothing that special to be honest. And also at night, they have some pretty cool dessert carts outside. Moving on to your breakfast choices. We already covered the buffet, which kind of sucked. One morning we had room service, which was definitely a big step up. An even bigger step up is the preferred rooftop. You have access to this if you're on the Impression side, you have a preferred club room on the Moxche side, or you're a World of Hyatt Globalist. Keep in mind there's also a really cool pool up here, which we didn't really use because we have the Impressions pool, but this is a nice option with some great views. And the food served tasted significantly better than the buffet. If you have no elite status and you're staying on the Moxche side, I really feel bad about your breakfast options. Hands down, the best breakfast option is at Seaside, which is an Impressions-only restaurant. The food is significantly higher in quality than the other options. And also, very importantly, there is zero crowd. Like, there is almost no one here, which creates a much more relaxed atmosphere. The only thing I'll note is if you have that bad beach smell, then you'll want to sit inside, because trust me, you will not have an appetite sitting outdoors. They serve lunch and dinner here as well, but we only stopped by for a couple desserts, which as expected were excellent. Now, in terms of things to do around the hotel, one night they had a free painting class, which I think turned out pretty well. There are also nightly shows, which are cool but not necessarily my thing. Okay, check this out. We just came back from the show for tonight, and we see that our butlers made us the most amazing bubble bath. We didn't ask them to do this, we didn't request anything, they just did this purely by surprise. We have these are real rose petals laid on the ground leading up to the bathtub. We have a handwritten note from them, a full bubble bath, and also one of the most beautiful flower displays I've ever seen. This is also real. Like, nothing's fake here. This is insane. We didn't ask for this, we didn't pay for this, just purely by surprise. Amazing. At 10:30 p.m. every night, the quote-unquote secret Gypsy Club opens up, which is the hotel's nightclub. I think they did a wonderful job on this. The lighting effects speak for themselves, but it is really fun to hang out here. You have to check it out at least once. Another activity we really love is that one of the nights they had the Roads Through Mexico Festival, where there was a bunch of food, artwork, and dancers. I'm guessing it's a weekly occurrence, but of course it could change at any time. If you'd like a chance to socialize with other guests, be sure to check out Dark Horse, specifically between 7 to 9 p.m. every night, because that's when you can use the golf simulator, which was really fun, although it was kind of difficult. I mean, unless you're me, of course. The last part about the hotel I want to talk about is the spa, and just wow. If you're a globalist, you get a free hydrotherapy session for 2 people, effectively just letting you use the spa facilities. We had a wonderful time here. There's a sauna, a steam room, a cold plunge, a massive heated pool, chairs with jets, and of course a jacuzzi. I just remember falling asleep in the loungers listening to the sounds of the water. By far the most relaxing part of our stay. Also, if you're on the Impression side, you do get 2 free complimentary 25-minute treatments. We opted for scalp massages, which were perfect. So final thoughts on Secret's Impression Moxché. Is it worth 50,000 World of Hyatt Points per night? Probably not, but almost no hotel would be worth that. But if you booked it before the change, is it worth 25,000 World of Hyatt Points? Absolutely. Yes, there were the issues such as the timeshare pitch that I mentioned previously, but overall this is a beautiful hotel with nice service, great food, and amazing pools. If I could book it again at the price I paid, I would absolutely come back. I truly hope you've enjoyed this video. Please consider giving me a like and subscribing to the channel to see reviews of flights and hotels all over the world. And also consider joining our free award travel Discord group at the link in the description, where we will alert you to amazing deals.